is One Leeds. Welcome back to the latest video. This video, as always, is sponsored by Shop GNO, the Job Match Group, and Match Bingo. Let's get into it. First up, the Job Match Group. Whether you're looking for your next big gig or just browsing, the Job Match Group has niche job sites made just for you. F1, retail, security, and loads more. They're about matching the right person to the right job. Make sure you check them out if you're ready to level up your career. Then we've got Shop GNO, an exciting new e-commerce site where you can grab exclusive deals and discounts. Right now, One Leeds has an affiliate link just below where you can score a 25 quid membership for free, unlocking special rates and benefits. You can even list your own shop on there with way better rates than Amazon, eBay, and Vinted. They've got some Leeds bits and some general bits now and launching soon, plus some great prizes just for signing up. This is all powered by a massive Leeds United fan looking to make waves in the online shopping world. So check them out and support your local. And don't forget our mates at Match Bingo. They're smashing it with footy fun. You can get 5 bingo cards for the price of 4 through One Leeds, and you can even deposit just a £5 at a time to join the action. It's a big chance to win whilst having a blast with your fellow Leeds United friends. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Check the links in the description, and let's get on with the video. Hello. Can you hear me? Right now I'm echoing. Oh, lads, this is a nightmare. Better? No, better. No, better. No, better. No. What is going on? Hello? Right, lads, might have to come off this. Hello. Better? Are we back? Are we here? Oh my God, are we here? I'm so sorry. Guys, I've been... Honestly, just to prove what I've been doing this morning, we've got all this. It's all targets of what we're doing this morning. The technology, is this better? Are we better now? Just let us know in the chat. I'm about to smash this setup. I swear to God, I'm so sorry. Lack of professionalism in here. Are we back? Let us know. We're back. Flipping heck. I'm so sorry for those who've probably just left and gone, what is this absolute amateur doing? Honestly, I am working through something called OBS, guys. And for the OGs, OBS is something that I pivoted towards to get more like graphics on the screen for the image to be clearer and all this sort of stuff. And it's worked, but it is a nightmare. It is an honest nightmare. There's a reason it's free. And sometimes it'll just do this. It'll just glitch. And I'm like, oh, so I can't hear myself this morning. This is good. Fantastic, OBS. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I think we're all good. Apologies. What I'll do... We're lagging. Are we lagging? Are we okay? Hold on. Let me just have a quick look. We shouldn't be lagging. But I know the chat can be a little bit behind sometimes. So let me know. I think we're all good. Apologies. Yes, but big delay. Your audio's out of sync. Fucking hell, man. My language. Doesn't look like it on mine. Mine looks perfect. Man looks perfect. Man looks okay. Right, we're back. Okay. 1, 2. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to One Leeds. My name is Conor McGilligan. This is One Leeds. And of course, this is the Rumour Mill. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. Have you enjoyed the start to this stream? What an experience that was. We've not had that. We've not had that all window, really, have we? Me just absolutely ballsing everything up. Some may say we have anyway. But thank you so much for sticking around, everybody. It's not the Igor Paixao fan channel anymore. It is obviously One Leeds, and we've dropped the fan channel as well. Do us a solid, slap a like in the section below as well, everybody. Really appreciate all of your support consistently. Today, we're going to be speaking about targets. Today, we're going to be speaking about actual links, which some journalists are now putting us together with. I'm going to be speaking about who I think Leeds United should go for, the realism of all these. I've got written down page after page after page of what I think Leeds United should do. Will Leeds do it? Probably not. It won't happen, but here we go. It is what it is, and we're back discussing everything Leeds United. So here we go. We've got later than La Soga arriving into the box, says Dan. What's Ryan Kent up to? No idea, mate. What is his? Good to have some old school One Leeds fan channel issues like the old days, mate. I'm telling you. I'm absolutely telling you. Tim says, morning, Connor, keeping the Brazilian theme alive. What about Kevin from Shakhtar? 15 goals, 10 assists. Yeah, look, we've seen Willian, haven't we, come from Shakhtar and absolutely thrive. Manor Solomon came from Shakhtar as well. Let's bear that in mind. I just think sometimes we've got to be a little bit careful with that transition over to the Premier League. I have mentioned several times, but I think you've got to have top league experience to fit into the Premier League with what Leeds United now. We need output right now. We need output right now. It's not about what we're going to get in 2 or 3 years' time. So that's something that we have to bear in mind, I think, when it comes to the Whites and going forward. And this is why we're going for players, in my opinion, who are 24, 25, 26, 27. You know, if you're looking at Longstaff as the top end of that range, I think there's a reason behind that. I think Leeds are very, very well aware that we've got youth products. We've got a lot of young lads anyway. And then it's about hitting the ground running with some of the signings and getting that sorted, all of those signed, sealed and delivered. And I think this is why Leeds United are going for an older age bracket than, let's say, maybe a Sunderland. Sunderland are maybe they're protecting themselves with a little bit of insurance when it comes to sell-on value. I think that's what's happening. When it comes to Leeds United, to be honest with you, and you know what we're doing when it comes to the targets going forward. Sam says I'm banging the Kevin drum from now on. Yeah, fair enough. We'll wait and see when it comes to that. I think once again, there's a lot of, if you can prove it you're proving it in that league, and you're doing okay. Obviously in Europe, that's great. But yeah, the Shakhtar Donetsk, I'm just not 100% convinced that's what we need. 22 years of age, does he fit our profile? This is the whole thing now. What's our target range? Igor Paixao was what, 24, 25? I think Stack is 26, Longstaff's 27, Biol's 24. I think we've got to be realistic. Nemecha is 26. We've got to be realistic about what Leeds are going to be doing right now, everybody, and what sort of age-specific range they're going for, because that will be part of the data-driven metric, what we're going for, how we're going to develop in those areas, why we're going for those certain personnel. And that's kind of why I've spoken about certain players today. So I wanted to start off with potentially a bit of an unrealistic target for me, but a target of which is going to come in and hit the ground running. I think Christoph Tzolis would be an unbelievable alternative to Igor Paixao. Is it of the Paixao level? Well, there's comparatives. There is 100% comparatives there. When you look at his season so far, he's had an exceptional season. He's proven it in Europe, obviously, as has Paixao this season. They're at a similar-ish level as well. The Belgian Pro League and the Eredivisie, similar-ish league. You know, you look at the similarities between the two. I think they're both almost box dynamic wingers who can go on the outside and go very explosively into that almost central attacking midfield role as well, and invert very, very effectively. They shoot from anywhere, both of them. We saw that with Igor Paixao when it comes to instinctiveness on the edge of the areas. Tzolis is the exact same. His development from Fortuna Dusseldorf to now Club Brugge has been exponentially big. It's been very, very good. He's got an upward trajectory. He's only about 23 years of age. Now, he will cost Leeds United on the upper scale, but there's a lot of people in the chat who say, Connor, we need that Paixao player. Well, if you want that Paixao player, you're going to have to spend that Paixao money. It is what it is. This guy's proven it this season in, obviously, the Champions League. I think Club Brugge got to the last 16. He's proved it against Atalanta. He was superb. Aston Villa, he was superb as well, which might be something that you guys have seen. Obviously, Villa came up against Club Brugge earlier on. And I think he'd be a top signing. He's been one of my options from day dot. He's a right-footed left winger, and he gives you a lot of options, in my opinion, even if you wanted to put him in the central attacking midfield role as well. But he's developed hugely since he was at Norwich. Absolutely, to another level than when he was at Norwich. And there is a conversation right now that this kid is probably one of Bruges' best players. But we know when it comes to their talent ID and recruitment, they get some top players through the door there, some really, really good players through the door. So they'll be looking at making a profit on Tzolis at some point. I think they brought him in for around about, I think it was in and around it was a good value. I think it was around about 8 million quid, 8 million euros. Could be wrong in that though. So they're going to make a massive fee when it comes to the profit of him. Champions League football is probably why he wouldn't come to Leeds at this moment in time. He's a regular starter, and obviously that Premier League risk, which potentially Igor Paixao did exhibit as well when it comes to, well, I'm going to get more numbers in. And some people were potentially a little bit confused about what I was saying when it came to the standard bearer and what we need to do when it comes to this level. Now, Leeds United, if they want someone like, as I've just mentioned previously, Christos Tzolis, they've effectively they've got to go and pay that money. If you guys want that person in that, because you'll offer alternatives, we'll speak about certain personnel, and there'll be people in the chat going, they're not good enough, they're crap, they're not good enough. Well, if you want someone who's nigh on, not a replica as such, but fills out very, very, I would say, huge similarities, to be honest, when it comes to Paixao, it is Tzolis, and you're going to be paying that sort of money. And the unfortunate thing is, when you look at someone like Tzolis, he's already proven it now, and that's why he's one of the key cogs in this Club Bruges side. But money talks. And if he's still got a point to prove in the Premier League, in my opinion, didn't quite work out, obviously, at Norwich. And he didn't quite work out for him at England. He's massively developed since that point. You never know; he might want a little bit of a return to the Premier League. And as that sort of box left winger, I think he's terrific. Pace, very good in the duels as well. Can go left, can go right. Is a threat, in my opinion. I think with how he strikes the ball from set pieces as well. So Christos Tzolis is a little bit more of the upper echelon, the higher end left winger that Leeds can go for. The cut inside the inversion is key when you're comparing him and Paixao. But he is probably the closest that I can think of to Igor. That's what I would say. He's the closest, but he's going to cost you a lot of money. He's going to cost you a lot of money, and it depends what Leeds United are looking at in terms of that, in my opinion. So, are they willing to spend that sort of money? 1,400 of you in the building, everybody. Let's slap a like on the video. We've got 316 likes on the video right now. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Kim says, please remove Paixao from all mention. Don't compare other targets to someone who... Well, Kim, we're obviously going to do that, mate. Why would we not do that? There's a player of which Leeds United were looking for in terms of attributes. And Leeds United were going to go all the way for Igor Paixao, so we have to compare him, because if Leeds United are going for that style of left winger, you're going to have to compare him to other players. And if we are comparing him to other players, we might get a little bit of replication to what he can deliver. His domestic form was very, very good last season in the Pro League, and his form in European competition in the Champions League was very, very good last season as well. Standout games similarly to that of Paixao. We look at that AC Milan game where Paixao just ran the game. He did something very, very. You could look at him up against Atalanta, where he was very good. You could look at him up. You could look him up against Aston Villa, was very good in that game as well, and across the two legs, in my opinion. So yeah, we have to look at that. Diety, or whatever your name is, I don't know why you've been a bit weird this morning, mate. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you're still upset by that news. Feels like there is a lack of stretch targets now. Are we better off getting Solomon in and strengthening elsewhere? I think, nah, no way, mate. No way. No, let's not do this. Who are we talking about there, Knox? Are we talking about Tzolis in comparison to Solomon? Is that what we're talking about? Christos Tzolis, mate, is a massive improvement on Manor Solomon. Yeah, we'll get into that. But this is kind of like, I don't want us to do this thing where all of a sudden, and I've seen a lead story earlier on where they're doing the partnership thing with this new company, and all of a sudden they're focusing on Solomon's goal against Plymouth, and someone sent it to me a little bit earlier on and said, do you think this is a little bit of a hint? And look, I don't know. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world going for Solomon, but once again, with a lot of you who are talking about proven Premier League experience, you cannot utilize and use the Championship and doing what he did last season for one season as evidence that Manor Solomon would be a really good signing. I think you've got, if we're trying to get as close to Paixao as possible, Tzolis is a massive input. We've got another name coming up as well, but that is kind of the conversation that we're talking about right now. We're trying to get close to him in terms of a replica. 38 today, and I'm listening. Connor, good news. Connor, please. Yeah, mate. It's more of a target conversation. This one, we've got a few bits towards the end of it. Morning from Thassos. Hey, mate. How's it going? We're looking for prime players. Mr. Whiteside says all on 4-year deals. All the winger talk. Where's the number 9 targets? And that might be it now, Matt. That might be it. It might be the fact that we will go for a number 9 and we will ignore that left winger position. Let's be honest, none of us thought we were going to go for a left winger at the beginning of the window anyway. So I was thinking right winger. We've got a right winger name coming up a little bit in my notes anyway. But yeah, when it came to Leeds United going forward this season, I thought we'd maybe be using Nonto and Ramazani off the left, which I'd be fine with anyway. And then on the right, we'd maybe be supplementing that of Dan James and helping him out on that side. So yeah, you got to look at the depth and the regions you want. As Marcelo Bielsa used to say, you kind of want 2 players per position anyway. And especially when ball progression is so unequivocally important for Leeds United in potentially a low block, you've got to have that ball progression out wide. If Leeds are building out wide, which we've seen at points throughout this preseason, the vertical build-up is still there. But as soon as it goes into the middle, it's the first touch out wide. It's the first touch, then second touch out wide when it comes to Tanaka, Ampadu and Stack. So the build-up's been really interesting in this preseason. I think Leeds will vary it up. I think you've seen that when it comes to the long ball to Strout consistently as well in periods. From Strout, I should say, to Nemecha in periods where he's varied up that progression out from the back. But I think overall it's been fascinating to watch Leeds United, even against Man United this season, trying to build out from the back. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Ricky says I'd settle for Mano, Solomon and Isaac. Tzolis' stats are okay, hold on. Let's have a look. We have the beauty here of just having a look at this. So let's have a look at Tzolis. Christoph Tzolis' stats. Okay, unfortunately, we've only got his stats from the Champions League. That's all we've got, which is very annoying. But you look at his stats in the Belgian Pro League as well. They're not terrible, Darren. I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at there, mate. Is that just a throwaway comment? Presumably. We'll have to wait and see. But hi, Connor. Loving the new look of the show. We're going to get a glamour sign in this window. Jasper says, I like Connor, exciting player. A backward Connor, exciting young player, tricky. Yeah, I think when you look at that, and it's interesting, it's on the right-hand side, isn't it? He's played fullback, he's played right wing. I've mentioned it before that, mirrors a little bit of attributes when it comes to Frimpong. However, he obviously utilizes that left foot, doesn't he? What you've got to be careful with back-wise, if we are inverting a lot, Leeds are going to be extremely narrow. We've got to really explode when it comes to getting the byline and getting down that left-hand side when it comes to Leeds United on that left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, hitting the byline as well, like Dan James does. Dan James does. He always wants that ball over the top. His strengths are hitting the byline. It can't just always be about inversion. And that's kind of my little worry with Mano Solomon at Premier League level, coming up against, let's say, a right back and him having to cut inside. Because on that left-hand side, if he's going on his left, not his strongest side, I don't think over a 5-yard period he's quick enough. And I think the right backs are that good in the Premier League that, you need to be able to vary your play a little bit. And I'm not sure he's got the pace to be able to beat a guy on that left-hand side, if that makes sense. Let's have a look. Great job, Connor. Thank you, mate. Yeah, we're going to get onto the rooms in just a little bit. I'm just kind of... Right, okay, mods, we're going to have to get rid of this guy. I don't know what the problem is this morning. There's a lot of angry people in the chat this morning. What is going on? There's been a lot of people who... right, unfortunately, we will have to get rid of I don't know what's going on this morning. There's a lot of angry people in here, so it is what it is. This is what happens when Leeds lose out on a sign. It's all been very positive in here. Now it's kind of got a little bit angry at some stages. Come on, Connor. You know full well if it wasn't for Solomon, we'd still be in the Championship. That has got no relevance to what I'm talking about, Bob, at all. We're talking about Premier League and the output in the Premier League. Bob, if you can explain to me and show me where Mano Solomon has proven it in the Premier League like a lot of people want, or maybe has the attributes to simultaneously fit into the Premier League, then that's absolutely fine, mate. But I see a player who at 25, 26 has been scuppered by injuries and has struggled to really get his form. Last season was excellent, but going in for Mano Solomon at 15, 20 million quid, when you look at risk versus reward, I know we've got the affinity with him, the sentiment with him, completely get that. But overall, everybody, it is a risk. It's a massive risk. And I wouldn't look at him and say he's a pacey player. I think you need a pacey player in the Premier League out wide. That's personally what I think. Tommy says my mods are non-existent, mate. I know. I'm gonna have to some serious words with the mods. They're just non-existent. You are quite right, pal. So we've got, I think, one Leeds fan channel at gmail.com if you want to be a mod and you're in here every month. I think Leona has mentioned something and I'll be getting in contact with him. But if you fancy that, everybody let me know via email. Okay, so Tzolis is one of them. So you guys have let me know in the comment section below regarding him, which is absolutely fine. That is just my suggestion of what I would go for. The next player who I would be looking at in terms of realism, and I think you guys are probably going to be well aware of this. I don't know if it's just zipped it on here when it comes to player stats. Yeah, this is the guy. So he was probably my first pick, I would say, when it came to around about 2 months ago when you were looking at Leeds United and left wingers. Dynamic forward, absolutely took apart Serie B last season. Probably one of the best Serie B seasons that you'll see in modern times. Lauriente stands out, absolutely stands out. Broke down with a move to Sunderland earlier on this window because of the wage structure and because of the contract length. So his representatives weren't happy with what Sunderland offered. They couldn't come to an agreement. Could that be a little lightning rod for Leeds United to go in there on the left-hand side? Massive upward trajectory. Now, my thing with Lauriente is, there's people who talk about Serie B, quite rightly so, quite rightly so. If you look at it overall, though, when you get 18 goals in 33 matches and you're at a 0.65 goals per game ratio, that is outstanding. That is a staggering record for a winger, a left winger as well. Likes to cut in on his right-hand side, is quick, will hit the byline consistently. I think could play on the right-hand side as well, to be honest with you, but he's more dangerous on that left-hand side. He has had a better season than at the top level than all of our wingers. All of our wingers that we have right now, including Dan James, who's probably had the most productive, I think, overall when it comes to top flight seasons, probably Leeds United in 21-22, I think, and we'll be able to get to that. Lauriente has had a better top flight season than all of our wingers. He for Sassuolo in 22-23 when they were up with, Raspadori and they were up with Beledi, and Sassuolo were a bit of a new, exciting prospect. Lauriente got 14 goal involvements in 30 games, which is absolutely fantastic for a young player, which he was at that moment in time. I think he was 22, 23. The next season struggled a little bit, but Sassuolo struggled overall. But I think he still got 9 goal involvements that season. But Beledi was out for a huge part of it. I mentioned Raspadori early on. He wasn't part of proceedings as well. And they struggled to invest in that second season in defensive reinforcements and midfield reinforcements as well. Sassuolo, they got relegated. He stayed again amid interest that season as well, and has just absolutely battered Serie B this season, Lauriente. So the thing about him overall is he's proven it at the top level more than all of our wingers. And also, I do think he would complement our winger structure really, really nicely. I think you'd probably see Nonto on the right-hand side. Lauriente would come on that left-hand side, and I would say will potentially be the starter ahead of Willy Gnonto. He'd be a little bit more of a marquee signing as well. This guy would be a really, really nice addition for Leeds United, in my opinion. As I've said, the breakdown with Sunderland was the wages and the contract length as well, which will be interesting to see. But I think their wage structure is a little bit different to ours. But I mentioned the best seasons when it comes to top flight in 21-22. When you look at the comparative of all of our players, Dan James got 8 goals and assists, goal involvements in 33 for Leeds. Ramazani's best performance at the top level was in 22-23 for Almeria, which actually was a really good campaign for him. 7 goal involvements in 25, which is decent for a young lad. Nonto's was the best in 22-23. These are all top level involvements, by the way, top flight, not championship, which was 3 goal involvements for Nonto in 24 appearances. Armand Lauriente in Serie A, 14 goal involvements in 30 games. Okay. Nearly a goal involvement every other game. And obviously, he's then gone down to the championship. And still, his championship numbers are better than any championship numbers that our wingers have put out. Dan James, I think, is second. I think it was last season, obviously, the season before we've just had. And he got 19 goal involvements in 41. Lauriente, obviously, in Serie B, got 23 goal involvements in 33 games. So I'll say the caveat to his last 3 seasons are the first season that he had 22-23 Serie A was brilliant. And it's 23, 24. They went down, struggled a little bit, and then 24, 25, he's come back and absolutely flown. So yeah, Lauriente as well offers something in set when it comes to set pieces. He's an instinctive winger as well. Will shoot from everywhere, can hit the byline excellently well, but also can cut inside and be very effective, roaming in toward that central attacking midfield role. And yeah, I really like him. I really like him. I think he's a good option for Leeds United. He was murmured earlier on. And yeah, for me, I think he adds something a little bit different. Adds something a little bit different. Apparently, Gasparini's interested in him as well, which Gasparini and wingers, when you look at players like Adamola Lookman at Atalanta, you think to yourself, oh, flipping heck, he might be attracted to that one. But yeah, that is just my suggestion, everybody. Look, you can say, no, Connor, he's underwhelming. He's crap. We need to go for Solomon. That's absolutely fine. That's your opinion. I completely respect that. That it is what it is. I've always said with these things that just come in here with maybe I don't know, like, if you are going to suggest someone, I'd say why, maybe a little bit of empirical evidence to back that up as well. And then we can have a proper discourse, debate, and discussion on that, of course, everybody. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of Lauriente. I've mentioned him from the start. I think he'd be a good option. You want to go for an upper echelon option in terms of fee. On that left hand side, you can go to for Christoph Tzolis. An outlandish one as well would be Matias Soule in Serie A. I think I've got him on the data spreadsheet here. He's probably somebody you could look at. Do I think Leeds United will be able to go for him? Probably not. He's the most outlandish of them all, to be honest with you. Excellent when it comes to ball progression. Really good dribbler. Was bought from Juve around about a year ago now for a good fee from Roma, about 25 million euros, I think it was a huge fee for Roma. Yeah, huge upside. Very good when it comes to dribbling. Really creative right winger as well. I would have him over someone like Jonny Rowe for Frosinone as well in Serie A. He was excellent. I think he got 14 goal contributions. And then last season as well for Roma, I think he was in and around the 11 goal involvement mark as well. But what you got to bear in mind is when you look at Soule, when you look at Tzolis, is they're probably not the age range that Leeds United are looking at right now. It feels like Leeds are looking at a certain level. But when you look at Armand Lauriente, he's 26 years of age, same age, I think, as Igor Paixao, has got experience, has done it at the top level, has done it at the second tier level, has developed physically, looks quicker, stronger at this moment in time than he did earlier on in his first campaign with Bellardi and co. In the 22-23 season. So yeah, I think that would be a good option, and we'll have to wait and see. And it's a good value. Sunderland apparently were in for him for 17 million quid, and they just couldn't get the agreement sorted. So I think as soon as Sunderland went in for him, I thought that's a brilliant signing. It's a really good signing. And what you're trying to do is bring in a different profile to what we have right now, And Lauriente, for me, is arguably a better option on that left-hand side than Willy Gnonto. Ramazani, I don't think will start for Daniel Farker anyway. So I think he's probably a better option. This might see Willy Gnonto going to the bench. Something to look at, though, obviously, is that Gnonto is very decent on that left-hand side as well. I know there's a lot of people talking about they prefer him on the right-hand side. I don't. I prefer him on that left. The only thing that I maybe worry about with Gnonto is the similar thing that I worry about potentially with Manor Solomon. It's going on that left-hand side when you're on that left-hand side and still having production. Has he got that agility? I don't think he has. Ramazani has the agility. Dan James has that agility over like a 5 to 10 yard sprint, I think. But when you're looking at Gnonto, when you're looking at Solomon, I don't think they have that. So I think they're able to use their low center of gravity, their balance, their shot efficiency when they're cutting inside a little bit more. So that's maybe something to look at. Lauriente has got so much ability to get to that byline because he's quicker. So that's something maybe there's a bit more variance in him off that left wing. So I think he's a bit more of a different profile to what we have right now. And that's something we have to look at. Christoph Tzolis, unlikely. Someone, obviously, like your man here as well, Matias Soule, a little bit unlikely as well when you're looking at that transfer fee. Okay, let's have a look at some of the other rumours that have been circulating when it comes to Leeds. I don't really know where this has come from. I'll be honest with you, is I just put my notepad over there so I can have a quick look at it. Jonny Rowe. Yeah. Not 100% sure on that one. Not 100% sure on that, if I'm honest. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Reason being is this was a risk for Marseille. to go for him. I think they were looking at a upward curve in his career. I think in 24-25, he's got 1 goal, 1 assist, struggling to get minutes when it comes to Marseille. In the Championship, I think this would have been a really good option for Leeds United. Obviously, since we were interested in him, we brought Ramazani in. Um, I don't think he offers that much tactical flexibility. I think maybe as a wide forward in a two, maybe, but he's a right winger. He's a speed merchant right winger. We've got that. We've got that. Inversion, he's all right on his left foot. I think when he cuts inside, best season was in the Championship. Obviously, I think he got around about 15 goal involvements, but he's really struggled out in France. And if you are looking to bet your bottom dollar on someone coming in and making an impact, I don't think he starts. So I think you get someone like Jonny Rowe coming in as like rotation, but I'm having Dan James over him all day and twice on a Sunday. On the right hand side, there's a conversation maybe between him and Nonto. Obviously, they give you something a little bit different, but that different. We were speaking about profiles there. I know Sam mentioned something about profiles, I think, in the comment section. Lauriente is completely different to what we have right now, in my opinion. Jonny Rowe, we've got it. We've got it in Dan James. Obviously, he gives you maybe a little bit more physicality when it comes to his height. I think he's around about 6'1". But for me, there's too many questions. I don't think he gives you that much when it comes to tactical flexibility. That's what I've just mentioned, because I think he's just on that right-hand side. Too many questions. He is just an out-and-out pure right winger when I watch Jonny Rowe. And when I've watched Jonny Rowe before, it's not quite worked for him at Marseille. And yeah, not for me. Not for me. I think him and Solomon as just two examples just throw up too many questions for me, in my opinion. So yeah, and look, when we've been talking about Igor Paixao, and with the greatest of respect, we're then talking about who we're talking about. It kind of fills you with a little bit of meh. But guys, what I'll be honest, I'll say this out and out. I genuinely don't believe that we're in a problem state right now. I'm really positive about Leeds United. I think when you look at the, and we'll just move up Jonny Rowe there. But when you kind of look at the state that we're in right now, the primary acquisitions for this football club weren't really out wide anyway. We're not looking at, it wasn't one of those where Leeds are going into this window looking for a left winger. In my opinion anyway, I've expressed my opinion. Some people really dislike the fact that I break Ramazani for whatever reason. He's a Leeds player. But Ramazani off that left-hand side, I think when he's been at full flow against Sheffield United, one of the top sides in the Championship, they couldn't live with him. They just could not live with him, and that was peak Ramazani. I think that slalom-like glide with the ball and his close control and his ability to hurt other teams, I think is a real acquisition in the Premier League. I think Nonto is better off the left as well. So I kind of wasn't looking at that. I kind of wasn't looking at the left wing as something that Leeds needed to do. I was more thinking right-sided, which is where you'd maybe look at Matias Soule. It's maybe, when you look at, other players as well on that right-hand side, a Jonny Rowe. But yeah, not something I would say is a preferential thing. I think that, or like, essential, I should say. I'm more looking at a forward, which Leeds have to get. I was looking at a goalkeeper, have to reinforce at the back and have to reinforce in the midfield. The whole thing, when we first started the rumour mill back in 3 months ago now, for this campaign in particular, was Leeds United going out and getting the spine of the side sorted. Leeds, outside a centre forward, have got the spine sorted right now. So that aside from the forward as well, which is a big thing we need to move, is positive for me. Out wide, I think we're actually okay for now. I think we should do something out wide in terms of maybe if they wanted to do a right winger, fair enough. A lot of people spoke about delaying Bakwa as well. I think that would be a good option. I think he's got in around 12, 13 goal contributions for Strasbourg this season as well. Looks like a really nice player as well. He's not on the same level as Paixao. In my opinion, I don't think Tzolis is either. I don't think Armand Lauriente is. I don't think they are, but I think they are that next bracket down. So that is the reality of it right now. Leeds United are going into a market of which we will not be able to get a player of Paixao's level. It just will not happen. But we do have to kind of compartmentalize it and look at the rationale and think to ourselves, do you know what? Are we really, really, really craving a winger of which we are panicking and we're struggling right now? I don't think we are. I don't think we are. I look at a centre forward and I think to myself, yes, I think Burnley are probably looking at a centre forward. I think, I think Sunderland are definitely looking for a centre forward. So this is kind of the realm we're in right now, I think. Let's have a quick look at what you guys are saying anyway. Arlo, Joe, sorry, mate. Thanks so much for your for your contribution there, buddy. Morning, go for Tzolis, Solomon as last resort. Yeah, fair enough. Let's get into a few comments, man. See what you guys are saying. Carl says, for me, Solomon isn't a risk. I think the non-tangibles like team synergy, culture, fit, and perf and performance, presumably, and performance are all things that get overlooked when it comes to loan and permanent replacement, but it all comes down to the fee. Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. I would more, I know what you're saying about the non-tangibles. I would be more looking at like the quantitative look at Solomon in the Premier League and how this has worked before and the likelihood of maybe an injury resurfacing again. It's been brilliant all season. I don't think Solomon was unbelievable throughout the entire season. I don't think any Leeds player was unbelievable for the entire season. What was it? 10 goals, 12 assists was fantastic, absolutely fantastic, of course. But it's more, Carl, and I keep mentioning this, mate. It's more of the attributes in the Premier League. I keep mentioning this. The reason I have to say this over and over and over again, the reason I like Paixao was because he went right and he went left. And he had that pace on the left-hand side as well. He was able to create something out of nothing. It was pure X factor at top level. You know, at the top level, Tzolis has got something similar. Lauriente, I think, is 100% worth the risk, especially with the fee, because he can produce moments like that. Solomon, of course, can produce moments like that. But I want proof at top level as well. I think proof at top level, when you look at Tzolis, especially with his Champions League campaign, you can look at that, and obviously his workings as well in the Belgian league. Paixao, if we're looking at it, hadn't really proven it at the top level, like someone like Lauriente hadn't proven it. You know, if we're talking about the Eredivisie, and if people want to say stuff like, you know, Tzolis hasn't proven it at the top level, you know, we can put Paixao in that as well. But we know the reputation of him. We know the attributes. We know how this would seamlessly fit and transition into a Premier League season. When I look at Solomon, I just look at it and I think there is a risk there. There's a big risk, especially as a starter in the Premier League for me personally. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm a little bit worried about that. I think I'm not going to go and get Solomon because they're non-tangibles. We need to be sure. We need to be sure that whoever comes in is going to fit. And a player who's done an unbelievable job for Leeds United at second tier level, it just doesn't mean that we go out there and sign him for the Premier League. It doesn't mean that there's going to be an automatic, yep, that's going to work at Premier League level. I think that's my thoughts anyway, mate. But I do get what you're saying. I do agree that Solomon isn't someone we should be going for as a starter, but I'd take him off the bench and rotation. Yep, 100%. I don't think he'd come in as a rotation. No, I think we've seen that with Farker anyway. Brian Zaragoza is another option, Connor. Yeah, I believe he's moving though, mate. I think he's moving when it comes to Zaragoza. But yes, he would be a lovely option, of course. I think his dribble success rate was one of the top in the top 7 leagues this season as well. Make me a mod, Connor. I mod for a few if you need new balance. We're gonna have to, mate, because yeah, for some reason we've had some real staunch subscribers come in this month and just get really upset. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I think it's because they need someone to vent, so they can't vent at Marseille fans, so they'll vent at me instead. Whatever. Armand Lauriente, Pedro Concalves, Ismail Sabar. Yeah, Sabar is an interesting one. Obviously, he's not someone who operates traditionally as an out-and-out winger. That's someone who a lot of people have been talking about. William Gomez, Rodrigo Mora. There we go, Lee. Get the job done for you. Yeah, so many people hurting in the chat. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Good seeing you. Good to see you in here as well, Kingy. So who else are we talking about? There's rumours this morning floating around about Leeds United and Gabi Sara. Fanatics have spoken about that this morning. Gabi Sara, look, yeah, once again fits the 26 to 24 to 26/27 sort of age profile when it comes to what Leeds are doing. Will be a lovely addition. I think he's going to cost a lot of money. I'd see him more as an 8. People see him as a traditional 10. I don't think so. I think he's more box to box. He's more physical and athletic, combative, good in duels, uses his body really well when it comes to distribution, protects the ball well. I think he's a good Premier League fit. But I don't see it. I think Leeds are going to have to pay upwards of 30 million to that side in Turkey. So, yeah, I don't see that one as happening. So we'll move on from that. Now, this one that's going around this morning, when it comes to Leeds United, linked to Riccardo Sottil Sottil. Now, the last AC Milan games that I watched, because I think he was on loan at AC last season. The last AC game I watched was, I think, when they beat Inter 3-0. In the cup. or it was when they lost to Atalanta. Can't quite remember, but I don't remember seeing Sottil. So obviously he was on loan at AC Milan last season. There's been loads of talk about his dad absolutely loving AC Milan. I think they're both AC Milan fans. He adores Kaka. You can see as well how he plays. I think he's a lovely carrier of the ball out wide. Moves a little bit like Kvaratskhelia. If you've seen how Kvaratskhelia moves, basically not an out and out speed merchant, but who can front a full back up and go either way. I think on that left hand side, I've been mentioning several times that we've got to be we've got to vary our play when we come to left wingers. I think what's really nice about Sottil is he'll go left and he can go right, and he's very unpredictable. And actually, a lot of the time, for a right footer, he will hit the byline, which I think is really good because the predictability and why defenders become square a lot of the time is because they think you're going to cut inside. So he has you on your toes a little bit. Now, the big issue with him, as with him being great in the half spaces and a very good dribbler, one of the top 7 when it comes to leagues. He's one of the top when it comes to metrics in Serie A. With him being a strong ball carrier, I also look at it and think to myself, there's been a lot of injuries there. A lot of injuries when it comes to Sottil. It didn't work out for him at AC Milan whatsoever. I think he was brought in. There's a lot of talk about agents and why he was brought in and all that sort of stuff and fees. And you know what the Italian leagues can be like. But he didn't get a lot of minutes last season. He missed, I think, 4 games due to injury. In 23-24, he missed, it was 22-23. I think he missed 24 games. I think it was 30 games, actually. 30 games he missed through injury. The season afterwards, I think it was around about 10. So he's got an injury record. The rumours this morning is apparently Leeds United are looking up against Torino. They're looking for Sottil when it comes to a loan with I can't remember if it's an obligation or an option to buy. Probably an option. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll wait and see on this guy. Yeah, maybe a little bit underwhelming, that one. Maybe a little bit underwhelming. Mitrovic, yeah, I've seen him going. Could do a lot worse. Could do a lot worse. That would get Gabe extremely happy. But yeah, could do a lot worse. The thing is, the Mitrovic, what people will look at is obviously where he's playing right now. But holding the ball up, getting Leeds up the pitch, allowing Leeds to be a little bit more direct, Prem proven experience. But there you go. Prem proven experience. Someone who's done it at championship level and just battered teams around. Mitrovic is level. Look, apparently he wants to return to England as well. There would be a lot of worse options out there for Leeds United. A lot of worse options out there. Connor, I'm going to be honest, you haven't mentioned one decent quality player. David, I'm going to be honest as well. Have you heard of any of the players that I've been speaking about? Because, yeah, I, yeah, I'll just leave that one, David. I will leave that one. But yeah, we have mentioned a lot of quality players, mate. Soule is a very decent player. Christoph Tzolis is a very decent player as well. Go look at his record at Fortuna Dusseldorf. That might change your mind. And yeah, he's done well in the Champions League as well. Done well for Club Bruges season. Yeah, he's a decent player, mate. He's a decent player. So I don't know. I don't know what people want. I don't know what people want. Lauriente is a very decent player, hence why you've got top clubs like Roma and Fenerbahce and others interested in him. We are Leeds United. We are a newly promoted side. I sometimes don't know who Paixao would have been an unbelievable sign. Paixao would have been an unbelievable signing, but I don't understand who we think we can get when it comes to this. We are not going out and getting Jack Grealish. That is not happening. His wages are astronomical. That is not happening. So yeah, we've got to be realistic here, and we've got to look at the age profile. We've got to look at the style of players that the 49ers are bringing in this season as well, and we've got to break it down. Right. Carl says, "Morning, Connell. I'd finally catch you live. Hope you're okay, mate. Let's get more signings done." Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, Dave. What signings would you suggest, mate? What signings would you suggest? I guess is the next question. Let's whack some likes on the video as well, everybody. There's 1,500 of you in the building. Look what Igor Miss signing has done to his fan base, mate. I know. It is fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. A lot of people say Noosa as well. Per Eric, yeah, Noosa looks decent. I think Roma have nearly got that tied up though, haven't they? When it comes to Noosa, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. Vlahovic, not sure. Not sure. Wages, everything. It'd be tough. It'd be tough on that. It'd be a tough sell. Yeah. Well, I tell you what. Get your thoughts in on this one. Get your thoughts in on this one. I'll let that marinate. I will let it marinate. Josh, I know, mate. I know. I know. Um, I'll let this one marinate, and we will move on from Riccardo Sottil. Have I got him up here? Let's have a quick look. Let's see if he's on this. If he's on the sheet. I don't think he is. I don't think he is. So let's move on to the next rumor on the mill this morning. One that I didn't expect this morning. I have to say, one that I didn't expect this morning. Okay. Jota Silva at Forest. So I'll let you know. Apparently, it's between us and Sporting. Leeds have gone for him. Very similar scenario to Marseille yet again. There is a problem when it comes to the fee. Sporting are only we're sick of this, aren't we? Apparently, Sporting are willing to put up 10 million euros plus five. And apparently, Forest want 15 million euros, around 12 million quid. Leeds United are in with the action as well when it comes to it. So I'll let this one marinate. What I'm going to stop doing is giving my thoughts, then reacting to you guys. I want to see what the temperature is in the chat when it comes to Jota Silva. And this will get, I will get a very good measure of maybe if people are watching football, depending on what you guys say about this one. Maeda, yeah, Dublin Bread says Maeda, he is, mate, about 25 million quid, I think. Jota Silva, not Jota, NFFC. Yeah. Kim says he's a Timu version of Grealish. Mint, I don't think that's realistic, mate. Okay, let's break this one down. I think what's going to happen now, and I think you've got this with Sottil as well. Could be wrong, but it's just my verdict. You are going to get this happening a lot now with the age range of what Leeds are going for. Clubs now know what Leeds had to spend. Leeds were willing to go to, excuse me, I reckon about 40 million euros with Igor Paixao. So now clubs and agents, and we all know who they are, the ones on the Twitter sphere, Sebastian Vidal, you're going to get Ben Jacobs. We're going to get a Cream Kona. We're going to get all of them. Sports Witness, all this sort of stuff. And this is the rumor. This is what we comment on. What I don't want you guys to get wrong, and there's a few people getting it wrong, is Connor. They said to me yesterday on the chat, like, Connor, you went too early on Igor Paixao. Guys, it's not going early. What I do is present the rumors and then comment on the rumors. You guys all know, especially the OGs in the chat, Dan, etc., who've been with me throughout this entire window. It's always been the same. Especially with Igor Paixao, I was not sure. I was very, very not sure about if that one would get done. I wasn't positive about it. I was directly asked the other day on stream yesterday, I think, at the very beginning, when I was saying when Marseille apparently had pulled out, according to Feyenoord sources. They pulled out earlier on that day. They couldn't afford him. I was getting asked in the chat, Connor, do you think we can sign him? And I was saying, I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure. And that third bid for Marseille was always just plugging in my head if it was going to come. And obviously it did happen. So this is the rumor mill. It's just rumors, and then I give my opinion. The chat gives their opinion. I'm not going early because I'm not an ITK. I never have been. Right, but not for me. This one. This doesn't make a lot of sense. Lack of GNA in the Premier League whatsoever. Moderately quick. Not a great presser. It doesn't seem like Forest have relied on him heavily this season whatsoever. When you're kind of looking at what Leeds have been, or what we've been suggesting when it comes to a direct, explosive, pressy target who has decent GNA, Jota Silva doesn't fit any of that. He doesn't fit any of that. So, yeah, it doesn't make that much sense to me. And genuinely, if you're looking at like Jonny Rowe in comparison to him, obviously, I think he can play on the right and the left, can't he? Jota, I think primarily he's wide right though. But if you're offering me like Jonny Rowe or him for in around 15 million quid, then you're taking Jonny Rowe ahead of him, and he wouldn't be my preference anyway, Jonny Rowe. So Jota Silva, yeah. Not for me. Not for me. Thanks, Tim. Really appreciate that. Sujal says, Connor, you're always skeptical about Paixao, so fair play. You never said that was in the back. Mate, I got hammered for it on a lot of videos. I had to go into the chat and explain to people. I just don't think we'll get him. Rodrigo Muniz is another one who that's just my point of view. It doesn't mean that Leeds won't be able to go out and get a good player. Doesn't mean that Leeds United won't be effective in the rest of the window. And I think we've got to bring a little bit more. I think we've got to bring more like level heads to this as well, guys. I do think we're in a really good position, and I'm not surprised, but I'm maybe a little bit more taken back than I thought I would be with the reaction Uh, I've seen a lot of heat that the 49ers are getting. I've seen a lot of heat that, Leeds are just getting in general. We've matched Marseille blow for blow, and if it wasn't for Paixao's preference, we'd have got him. We'd have got him. But he evidently, personal terms were agreed with Marseille 3 weeks ago. What can you do? You can't do anything about that. Leeds had enough money. Now, what we then can't do is start saying, we'll go spend 40 million quid on so and so. Go spend 40 million on so and so just because we're desperate for a shiny new toy. That cannot happen. It cannot happen. You've got to be very, very careful with additions. You've got to be very, very careful with the profiles. I really like the back four right now. I think they complement each other really well. I like Gabby Goodmanson. I think Jaden Bogle's going to acclimatise very well to the Premier League. Look, Sunderland are doing good business, but they've not got that back line sorted out. They've not got a goalkeeper sorted out. They've not got centre back sorted out. You know, they've not got a backup right back sorted out. Okay, you look at Leeds United, and I think, albeit a backup left back, in my opinion, Leeds are sorted. Leeds are sorted in that back line, which is you build from the back. That's what I've always said when it comes to building a squad. You build from the back. And there was a lot of people in the comment section saying James Justin. These are sort of in and out when it comes to rumors. James Justin apparently is rumored at Leeds United. There might be some forthcoming news there in the future. Who knows? As I say, just rumors on the mill. I think Justin will be a fine a fine sort of backup player. Physical, athletic, 27 years of age, prem experience. As a replacement, that's fine. We're not going to be going out and getting Carl Walker-Peters as a backup. It just will not happen. Semedo's wage structure his wage demands are too high to be a backup. It's not going to happen. So you've got to be realistic. You've got to think, where can we go about here? Who's going to want to move to Leeds United to be in this struggle of staying up? Who can be a backup? Who can fit? Who can be versatile on that back line? That's why we've mentioned Jaffa Tanganga. That's why we've mentioned, we're talking about James Justin now, but I think what we've got to look at is the back line sorted. The midfield, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes to wingers. You have different profiles. That's why Armand Lauriente fits. That's why Christoph Tzolis fits. They're different profiles to what we already have. You're looking at that midfield, they're all different. Stack's very different to Ethan Ampadu. I think he's a better ball progressor. I think you look at his stature as well, his physicality. Ampadu's extremely different to Tanaka. Tanaka's an innovator, a creator, an anchor, an orchestrator of play, metronome. And then you look at Longstaff, he's box to box. Can work in a three, could work in maybe a double pivot with a bit of an anchor there. Leeds have done some really good business so far, but they're all different in that midfield. I think the back line, when you look at the centre backs, there's a lot of differences there as well. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Jacobiel. I think that's a terrific signing. I think he's looked brilliant in pre-season. I think when you look at Nonto, excellent in preseason, sharp. Ramazani, sharp. And not just against the teams that we've been playing against Man United. I thought Ramazani that second half looked really sharp. Was our main outlet. Jack Harrison, bin him off. Has no interest in Binny. You can tell by his body language. I don't want Jack Harrison anywhere near it. I've made that very clear consistently anyway, and he's not good enough. He would have been Leeds' fifth choice midfielder in the Championship. Nothing's changed right now when you come to the Premier League and you've got one goal in 38 games last season. No thanks. Showing the exact same attributes this season, just gets pushed back, is not good in duels. I don't think from a defensive perspective he's anywhere near it either. So I think he's going to be nowhere near it next season, in my opinion, hopefully. Then Leeds get another winger in, and you've got all different profiles, and then you've got a centre forward. But we cannot lose track of this being a good window so far. We cannot lose track. There's a lot to do, a lot to do. And why is there a lot to do? Because we've missed out on the person who I believe would have kept Leeds up. His dependability and reliability when it comes to Feyenoord, and especially when it comes to their European venture. Look, Paixao is a joke. He's a joke, an absolute joke of a football player, in my opinion. And there is a conversation that he's potentially on the same upward curve as someone like Rafinha. In 2 years, he'll probably move on somewhere else, or a year, he'll move on somewhere else. That had been negotiated in the contract as well with Marseille. He would have been, if we'd got someone like him in, you turn him around and going, well, even if we're looking at whatever happens with the centre forward, we're probably going to stay up here with this guy. That's how good it is. That's how good he is. So now maybe, you have to really be looking at the squad selection. You have to kind of get a very good, not just a moderate winger in, or like not a very good one, because it's not going to be of the Paixao level, but as close to Paixao as you can get. That's what you've got to do. And you've got to go out and get a centre forward, of which is, you're going to be pretty sure is going to do well for Leeds. And that's the task now. It's a massive task as well, because these two positions are so important for Leeds United to stay up. They're the marquee. They're the difference makers for me. Right, see what you guys are saying. Uh, yeah, Lukébakio, once again, someone who mentioned at the very beginning of the window. Let's just get him up for a bit of fun. Mm. Once again, it'd be a lot of money, this one. Dodi Lukébakio, this is someone who we mentioned as an outlandish shout when we were doing kind of 6 picks at the very beginning of the season. Could play centre forward, could play on that right hand side. Massive, will be a good outlet, rapid. I think could play on the left hand side as well. Yeah, this would be an outrageous signing. Pinch of salt. Pinch of salt. He's defo not the be all and end all of Leeds, mate. I'd agree. I'd agree. Look at the business we've done, mate. Yeah, we've done good business. No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Sottil says we are Leeds and we have to accept we love the team, but we have to accept we are currently a bottom half team, and like it or not, we'll be in a relegation mix. It will take time to be an established Premier League side. Oren says who would be your number one option for a winger now? Connor with us missing out on Paixao. Realistically, Lauriente. That would be my number one pick. I think, look, from someone who's watched him pretty regularly, I think he fits. And you guys know I wouldn't say that because I always go on about top 5 leagues and transitioning. He's done it in a top 5 league. He's got more GNA in a top 5 league than any of our wingers right now. He's a different profile. Um, he fits everything. I think set pieces is dangerous as well. Uh, yeah, explosive, direct, pressy. I think he fits a Farker system. I think he fits a Farker 4-3-3. I think he fits a Farker 4-2-3-1. Yeah, I was surprised that we didn't go in for him before Sunderland, to be honest with you, but it looks like our priority was obviously Igor Paixao. Kung Fu Kettle says, I still think we're having a great window, but we need some marquees still. It's been brilliant so far. Yeah, I'd say right now was probably a six, maybe 6.5. You get a backup fullback in. In my opinion, you get a backup keeper in as well. Backup fullback, backup keeper, which I know is up for debate. And then you get I don't know what they're going to do with the left now. Are they going to go to Delane Backwell on the right hand side? Maybe. And then just utilize Nonto and Ramazani on that left, which is the luxury that Leeds have now because they can both play on the left. Or are they going to go for another left? Are they going to go for another left winger? Is that what they're going to do? I don't know. I'm not sure. Wayne's gone to Madrid, mate. Trust me, would have been all over that. Would have been all over that, mate. But yeah, he's at Madrid. I am. I don't know what you mean, Kim. There. Evening, Connor. I'm not sure, mate. Not sure. Not sure. I couldn't give any opinion on that, pal. I'm not sure on that one. Has he just been rumored? Has he been rumored? Dad says, morning, Connor. Absolutely gutted for you after all the hard work you put in. No worries, bud. No worries. No worries. I'm more than impressed by 49ers business so far. By business, Perry was amazing. Him, Statch, well, yeah, 100%, mate. We just need a little bit more on the forward line, don't we? I think they're not going to let Oscar Bob go as well, mate. Not going to let Oscar Bob go, I don't think. Uh, Come on, Connor. Surely it's an 8 out of 10. We aren't that far off. I don't think a 6 out of 10 or 6.5 out of 10 is a bad shout. I think it's just what you see is like the metric, I guess. Like my metric is, if they go out and get like a really good left winger in, that would be worth 2. And then, they go out and get a good centre forward in, that may be worth 2 as well. So that takes it to a 10, backup fullback. Yeah. Look, it's all up for debate, isn't it? Yeah, Tyler, I don't think that'll happen. Jay says, "Would you be happy if we went in for 10 Weyer?" No, no, I wouldn't, mate. Right winger. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't mind him. I don't mind Weyer. I don't. It just depends on how much we'd spend on him. Forest were getting knocked back. There was complications. There's been massive problems at this moment in time with Tim Weyer and his agent. His agent's trying to get him out of the club. Marseille are digging the heels in. I don't know how far we'd have to go for Tim Weyer, and I'm just not sure that Leeds would be as keen on him. To be honest with you, Kingy's just said 8 out of 10. We're closer to a 5 than an 8. Yeah, I think we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful. I think it's been a good window so far. We've got to be careful though. We can't just, there's still things that Leeds have to do. Still things Leeds have to do, in my opinion. So we'll have to wait and see. Right, everybody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to timestamp what we've spoken about today. Been a bit heated at some points. There's been a lot of sort of people in here who are a little bit maybe upset at things. I get it. I do get it. But look, let's calm down. Let's be respectful in the chat. If you are not respectful in the chat afterwards, your comment will be removed and your user name will be hidden, and you just won't be able to comment again. That will happen, everybody. We're here for a respectful chat. If people put their opinions in the comment section respectfully, I'll always respect it. We might have a little bit of a difference in opinion, but that's all about the channel, the 3Ds, discourse, debate, and discussion. But we keep that respectful, everybody. We're going to be back tonight, I believe, with Brownie. I'll keep you updated, guys, on the second episode of White Noise. See what Brownie has to say about all the proceedings today. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video.